Okay, so last week had the rebirth of 757 TechNite. I believe the last time it was around was when I was a nominee. I didn't win. Big loser. But when you found out that the final attendee list number was 404 for a tech event, that's a little suspect.
Right. For the 404 air. I think that was a good night.
Was that intended to have 404? Like, did you guys do that intentionally?
Well, no, especially when we knew the theater only held 375, so we overbooked on purpose. And, we were both getting a little nervous when tickets kept rolling in, but it all worked out.
Maybe
we know there's going to be some no-shows.
757.
That would have been good. I still, I don't know. I think over time we could probably increase that number to 757. Then no one would question. But no, it was a great night.
Favorite part of the evening?
Well, it was great. It was nice to see the enthusiasm. It was nice to see. I had a lot of people that came up to me and talked about they haven't felt that kind of energy in the region in a long time. So that was really cool. As you know, we do this for the region. And if we can just continue to double down on the energy, make the and build, bring recognition, then that's what it's about. But it was fun. It's fun to see the. I'm soft. I'm soft when it comes like when I see that there's people there, but we live in a world that not everybody can win. And today we happen to be with one of our winners.
What do you mean soft though? Like I don't get it.
It's just like at one point at the beginning part, I think it was like the best in government contracting.
Yes.
And I looked behind me. There was like 30 people behind me, and knowing that like. There was like 3 teams of 10 that were all behind, and knowing that 20 of those people are going to be walking down the stairs, not necessarily the walk of shame, but not everybody can win.
Next year.
There is next year.
I was one thing that I think we need to figure out a way to encourage people to do this is to get crazy, to get rowdy, right? So like when I heard and I've seen this video and I should play this. So I get this message.
Showed up.
Did I send you the Yellow Dog video that I have?
But I was up on stage and I was like, man, it was loud up where I was.
They get so excited. And then when I see this video, I didn't hear this I asked Alan, hey, can you send me, do you guys have any pictures? He's like, yeah. And he sends me all stuff. There's one guy barking in the background. I'm like, yo, who is that? I want that guy on my team. Like, let's go. So I just want to encourage the region that when you attend an event hosted by Innovating Hampton Roads, let's get a little wild out there. Team Yellow Dog threw down. They were Arsenio hauling it out, if you know what I mean. And for all you youngins, look them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Jay Livingood.
It is great to be here. It is great to be here. I still look at this several times a day.
How about that?
It's awesome.
And the thing is, I was telling people that those are one of one awards. Yeah, I mean, a hand-blown glass.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, don't drop it. I dropped one. We had a committee meeting, and I dropped one.
I heard about
that. Little chippy chip.
Yeah. Now I have it very safely in the middle of my credenza, so it's got some safety around it.
Jay? Did you have 3 rows of people in attendance? It was
I think we had 18 or 20.
Man.
It was great for my team. I was like, guys, I'm covering this. Please come. It's a great opportunity for you to, obviously support what we're doing, but it's also, let's get you guys connected into the market. Let you guys see all the other companies. Cause oftentimes, when you're in a company, you're just blinders on. All you know about is your little, your little world. And it's like, look at all this amazing stuff that's going on in our region. And, you should be proud. I mean, we should be one of many, and we should always feel that way. That it's a great opportunity. Feel honored to have won, but we're collectively in this fight together, and so it's great to connect my team with others in this market. Wonderful.
Yeah, that is great. What did they have any takeaways or whatever? Like, were they? I know for me, when I was up on the second level, getting ready to walk down the stairs with Tom, our chair, and I looked at the number of people that were in the Huber Court, I was like, wow, there is a lot of people there. And just were they were they amazed, or were they had any feedback at all in terms of like, hey, this region is a lot bigger than what we thought that it was?
I think everybody was, they didn't have an idea what to expect. And when they walked into the courtyard of the Chrysler and saw, it looked like a great party. That's what it was. I came in a little bit late. I had a earlier commitment, so I didn't get there as early as I wanted to. So most of my team was already there. And so it was packed when I walked in. It felt like something really special and fun. And it was fun. It was, for me, I saw a ton of guys that I both work with and know and have and are friends with. And I ran into, Jerry Miller, who's over at the same club that I belong to. And so it was just great to be like, Jerry, you're here. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. And, Alvin Wall, who's supporting him, was there. And it was just fun to like quickly connect. And the vibe was great. It was electric. So really good.
They didn't know you won, right?
No, but no.
Okay.
No, they're complete, utter surprise across the board. There was no hint.
I feel
nothing, no idea.
I feel bad that many people asked over the months, asking basically, are they a winner? Knowing I knew the answers because there had to be.
It's like Christmas. That's why Christmas, it's about the anticipation. You don't.
Yeah. How else were those videos created, Tim? You think Jay just shot them and sent them in? It's like they had to be produced. Okay. You don't act like you weren't there too, Mr. Ryan. Okay. So like people are asking me. I actually didn't respond to any of these people. I think I just let Tim do it. Let Tim be the liar about it. Little fibber. Every time we did, I was like, "Oh God, I feel bad. I don't know what to say." Some people are like, how do you know if my logo is right?"
That was the best part, was to have absolutely no idea, and then I was nervous. I was just stone nervous. Like, wow, this is a big deal. And then to hear my name announced, I was just like, trying not to get emotional. I was just like, this is great. This is awesome. So much fun.
Oh, the funny thing is that Jerry didn't know you won, and you didn't know Jerry won.
Mm-mm. Nope.
And yeah,
it was cool putting together the video with you, though. It was cool. I hadn't seen you in forever. I feel like 7 years probably. So it was cool to do that, to see you, to get recognized, to see your team excited, to see people watching. Just it was a fun experience to be a part of, and I think that more of that is coming, and I'm excited to see more of those kind of stories and moments being relayed to 1.7 million people.
Well, I'm a big proponent of sharing information and getting us together. I learned this the hard way. I'm in a CEO group. It's the best thing I ever did, where I meet with 15 or 16 other folks once a month, all day. And it sounds mind numbing. Like, my God, you have time for that? And I really don't. I'm always that like, sorry, I'm late. I really didn't want to come type of thing. But in these CEO meetings, I'm sitting around 16 guys and gals, and they're doing these amazing things. And the truth of it is, we all deal with the same problems. There are different scales or different inflections. But, and what we're trying to do, whether you're a tech company or a placement company or a construction, we can all learn from each other. And particularly in tech, takes it down the rabbit hole in terms of the stuff that we have to do, because it's such a faster pace. I think, the rate of change in tech is massive, and you really need to do that in community. The smartest guy is the guy who knows he doesn't know that much, and that's me. I would love to be around anybody else who's doing something similar or in the same role to just, give me some shortcuts. Let's come together. Because the only other option is to learn it the hard way, or you got to spend a lot of time reading books. And I don't know, I think there's a better community is the right way to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing how some of the newcomers, when they were like, hey, I got this idea, I'm starting this business, or I'm new to the area, I would like to meet some new people. It's just amazing how fast you can learn through the power of others, as opposed to, like, I felt like you, Zach, myself, just kind of had to grind our way through it, and to be able to give it back and just see how much quicker that can happen.
I wish maybe LinkedIn does a little bit of this, but I wish we could all wear electronic badges that would be like, I have been through X and Y and Z, and I'm a first degree, second degree, third degree black belt on it. So yeah, I've been through fundraising. I've been through a divorce. I've been through these employee issues. It'd be nice if you could just kind of, quickly gauge what everybody's done and go, hey, you give me the answer type of thing. But
so like a real fact checker, that the person who's giving you information knows what they're talking about because they've actually lived it. I like that.
Well, it's just like, hey, I'm going to consider raising capital, and who's done that, and who's done this at the level I'm going to do that. It'd be great. It'd be great to kind of know that, because I think a lot of people, they're so busy running their company, you have no idea what they've done or what they haven't done until you actually get together and talk with them. So it'd be kind of fun if you could just be like, all right, I'm trying to start an overseas, subsidiary of my company. Who's done that, and who can, give me all the answers on it? That type of thing. It'd be great.
I dig that. Ran every day for 10 years. That would be Tim's first thing.
Nice.
Line item.
Strong.
Okay, so but have you raised money? Because the first thing I heard in that video was, okay, we're bootstrapped.
Nope, haven't raised a dime. We did it the old-fashioned way, which is, when we started, it was just license software. That's the only vehicle that exists. That was 19 years ago. So 2006, 2007, people just bought licenses, and you quoted licenses, perpetual, full boat, and then there was a recurring support. And so there was always, an ARR component to it. And so you sell a license, get the recurring, and obviously the recurring is what covered your support and upgrades and hopefully your continued development, but the license really kept you going. And so as a result, we were able to just sell and cash flow it through that license vehicle. And then over time, we had enough recurring of the support associated with it. And then we did introduce a SaaS offering, and we got a split now. And we're sitting here at 19 years, and we're still like 70-30 split. SaaS is good for the business and the investors. The license is still good for the owner who's trying to cash flow it, and that was me. And so I still push back. I see, all these startups, and they all, 100% SaaS, we have these two pricing, go for it. And, I always look at it going, gosh, if they had offered one more version of a license model, maybe they wouldn't have had to dilute their ownership so much. Because, if you do SaaS, you got to have capital, because it's either going to be 3 people in the company, and so everything's going to have to be electronic touches of you can't talk to anybody type of thing, or you can be like us. I've got 75 folks here, high touch, high involvement, and that resonates with our clients, and that's one of the reasons why we have kind of the brands we do, is that approach. So if I was to do it all over again, not sure what I would change. I guess it would come down to, your brand new startup, you're going to go SaaS, you're going to have some funding, some good friends and family, you're going to have to raise money, or you're going to have a license vehicle that keeps you going till eventually, it works out. You get enough SaaS revenue that you're now perpetuating what you do. So that's our journey.
So for those that aren't aware, I think that what is Yellow Dog? What problem are you solving? And what's your take on the business? It's more than just inventory.
So it's I'm like the worst guy at a cocktail party because it takes like a minute to explain it. So the simple answer is it's inventory, and it's an inventory software. And so, well, what does that mean? Well, that means we're creating items that people want to track. They need to order it. They need to bring it in. They then need to count it. A lot of it's kind of like asset. It's really kind of asset management, which is people are buying, a business is buying stuff, and they need accountability of that and the performance of that. And then we started out we were a back of house to retail point of sale. So that's the first thing. We connect to point of sale systems. We are not a point of sale. We connect and provide. We basically get the sales data from point of sale, and sometimes we're pushing those menu items in. And that's where we started. We did a lot of resorts right off the bat, places like Pinehurst and Sea Island and Omni, and just really fabulous brands. And then we got pulled into doing food and beverage inventory management, where our client base was like, wow, this is great. Can you also help us with our food? We got a lot of, food that we're buying, food and beverage and liquor, and want to control it. So we did that. And then, that was say 80% the same, but the 20% was new. Now we had to really do recipes, and we had to deal with modifiers, and we had to, report on cost of goods sold and some things that, we hadn't had to do at that level in retail. And then the third kind of piece is what we do for stadiums and arenas and kind of convention centers is concession workflow, where, basically in 5 hours, this business is going to do, maybe, $1 to $2 million, depending on the size. And there's this whole process of getting 200 locations, order in the right product, get it in the building, get it distributed to 200 locations. Fans enter in the building, they're there for 4 or 5 hours, millions of dollars are exchanged, and you got to control the start of it and the end of it and hold that team accountable, because it's like it's a mini circus for 7 or 8 hours, and the business has to control it. So it's an interesting landscape. Our retailers are, mostly seasonal. Like for the summer season at this resort, we are buying product and we're going to sell it and turn it over, clothing and gift items. And then food and beverages, hey, every week, maybe we're closed on Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday gets big. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're back down. So they're more weekly. And then concessions are these 7-hour blocks. So it's still the same workflow. It just kind of has different levers and pace that's with it. And so it's pretty intricate. It's not super sexy. I gotta admit. I always tell people it's the only girl I've dated, so I think she's really pretty. But it's what we've chosen to do. And then I guess I should say one more thing. To do what we have to do, we've built literally, I think we're up to 300 applications to facilitate integration between vendors, e-commerce, point of sale. And so really we're two companies. We have our product that we built, and we have hundreds of integrations. And so some days I look and go, well, the casual observer is always like, why didn't you just do one thing for one point of sale? I said, well, that's just not what we did. We did it to continue to broaden our reach. And so we do all that here, always done it here out of Norfolk, Virginia, but we're affecting, half of pro sports every day.
Wow.
A lot of the top tier resorts and hotels. The brands are fabulous. I cannot watch the evening news. I cannot watch 30 minutes of news without seeing a client. I'll trip over one either in politics, sports, or some kind of national coverage. There'll be a hospital system that is taking care of, there's some tragedy somewhere, and that's our hospital group. So it's just, it's interesting. We're, I watch Sunday Night Football, and sometimes it feels like homework. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like entertainment, because I'm like, oh gosh, let me look in the stands. Does it look like they're doing okay? Okay.
Well, I think one of the funny things, I would love the data aspect of what you guys get on the other end. Like, it was like Oasis is doing their tour right now, and they're like, they have rebirthed beer amongst fans, because like it was like typical concerts for the younger people. They would drink like average of 1 beer per person, and like Oasis is breaking records in terms of the amount of beer consumed at their tours, you know. And so I would just love to see, it was like, if I don't know, it was a ridiculous amount of beers that they would serve at one show.
Well, we've done some interesting things. I mean, you're right. We have some great data, which we don't look at. Be completely honest, it's our clients' data. But every now and then, one of my guys, like somebody. Well, Tim Tebow went back and went into baseball, and he was at a park, and somebody was like, the jerseys that Tim Tebow has sold in the last 2 weeks. I was like, no, I don't want to know. But they're like, yeah, it's really high. But it is interesting. Like, we've got some clients, like we work with Maple Leaf Sports, so they'll have a hockey event on Friday, and then they'll do a Raptors event, basketball, on a Saturday, and the mix of product sales are vastly different. Vastly, like beer sales are through the roof for the Maple Leafs, and then drops down 50% for the Raptors, but food goes way up. And the demographics, just a different shift in the fans that are in there. And then some of our retailers, as that's a question, what do you think is the best retail? When do you sell the most merchandise if you're a baseball team? And the answer is first couple of games, because everybody's trying to get new merch. Speaking of new merch,
oh my!
I have this guy. This is the yellow dog. There he is. There he is, making an appearance.
I know that is a first for the show, Zach.
There we go.
I knew that was happening. I didn't want to tell you, Tim. It was supposed to happen in about 8 minutes.
Wait. You guys don't have a mascot? Every company doesn't have a mascot? They should.
We've been doing it wrong.
So it's actually fun. We did this a long time ago.
What's the mascot's name?
Just Dog, D-A-W-G.
What's up, dog?
The OG dog. So we got it for trade shows and that type of thing. But the best part about it is we make the most junior employee wear it until the next person gets hired.
Love it.
So if we're in a hiring drought, or we're full,
that person
might be wearing the mascot costume for a little
struggling.
So that's Alan Hagerman right now, because he was your last hire, right? So
actually, my son's wearing it because he's more.
That's so disappointing.
Alan's on the clock. Alan is definitely on the clock right now. So.
Oh, that needs to be Alan. I get this text message from Alan last week. He goes, we have this mascot that could walk in the middle of the episode. So he's like, do you care? I was like, no, I don't care.
Sure.
He goes, but we're not going to tell Tim, just so we can get some shock factor.
We should have sat last Thursday. We should have had somebody wearing it in the audience.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Yeah, what a disappointment. You guys, come on. Like, Alan would have been the person in that. He was looking for an outfit.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Maybe we can get Alan's suit, his jumpsuit, with with dog, and then him wearing that over that. That would be a hell of a time.
Well, just get a TechNite shirt that's in like quadruple XL so we can fit it on. So we'll put it on a dog. We'll get him to wear it.
We got it. Got it planned.
The one thing I've always wanted to do, I've never had the guts to do it because it's a little bit of stealing, but I've always wanted to put on that costume and try to just walk into the gates at the ODU football game to see if I can just do it. I need to find a team that they're playing that might have like a dog type of thing. But more to come on that. I'll tell you guys if I ever get the guts to do it.
Yeah, have a GoPro on. I think if you had like a camera crew on the dog too, walking in, I feel like there's ways to like
maybe get one girl in a cheerleader outfit too. We walk in to get something.
Perfect.
There's something.
Perfect. Love the idea. Tim, have you, or Jay too, like I've watched like these, I'm infatuated by stadiums. I think they're really interesting. And I've seen like these videos where they talk about how long it takes to prepare for concessions. And it really is hours before. Like I watched one, I can't remember where it was, but it was like 6 hours just to pop popcorn because I had to go to so many different places. And you don't think about that. You don't think about an event and how much time it takes to prepare. TechNite.
The glizzies?
The what? The glizzies? Well, those are probably like,
but you got to have them ready. I mean,
the glizzy goblin, he was ready. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's like crazy to think how much time that is. And then this is just the tracking mechanism of that, which is, it's a wild ride to think about. I think people need to, when they're thinking about stadiums and events, like realize, oh, there's a lot more that goes into this. Not just setup, but timing and preparation. And it's cool.
Yeah. We're literally running bidding algorithms of like, the next event is on Friday. Today's Tuesday. We're within the lead times. Who are we playing? What's the advanced ticket sales? We've got to put those into our kind of ordering engine to say, okay, are you full house, 75% house? Okay. And then historically, what has this opponent and their fan base done to it? Are you in the playoffs? Are you not? And so there's a multiplier. There's literally they're twisting a knob on, okay, if it was a full house, we should order X. Okay, so that's pretty simple. We should order, 100 cases of beer, 100 pallets of beer. But then they can, well, it's getting hot, getting cold. They got to turn it down. And then even that's referred to as pars in the system. We even have like par schedules where they can insert pars when they go, oh, okay, it's getting cold. Hot chocolate's going to go up. Coffee's going to go up. Beer's going to go down. And so all of a sudden it starts to get complicated. Then you go to order and you may buy hot dogs from 3 different vendors. And depending on the time of the month and the pricing, one guy may have a better price than the other, but the person ordering it may not know that. But our system does because we're updating the vendor pricing. And so we're running this order, which looks pretty simple. Hey, we've got an event. We're going to tweak the dial to this. We got this many outlets. This is what every outlet needs in the building. And then we go compare and have to basically do the quick bidding analysis against all the vendors and products and say, this is exactly what to order. And then we have to order it and then we have to get it in. And then we've got to go through that's more of the carnival side of, at some point, a whole army needs to come into the warehouse, grab carts, grab what's referred to as pick list. This is the product I got to move. And it may be throw all the beer on a cart and go run around and drop off the beer, or maybe grab everything for this stand on one cart and go deliver it. And then like your popcorn example, yeah, there's one place that's making huge bags, bins of popcorn. And then they've got to get it out, but they also have to keep some of it for themselves because usually that's a stand, or pizzas, their own stand. So it gets complicated fast. I went in thinking, oh, it's just this, but then it was like, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But that's kind of what we do. We love getting into the nitty gritty workflows and advantages. We just do inventory, so we don't have to do everything like point of sale. So we can kind of be a nerd and kind of go real deep on that side because that's what the industry and the clients call for. So
the popcorn, I think it took 6 hours to pop. It was going to like every suite.
Yeah.
And then it goes to every stand. And then they have the boxes of it too that go out to the people that are like, get your hot dogs, beer guy, popcorn guy walking through. You don't think about all that stuff. And it's just wild to think that you're right here in the fine cities of Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'll do this real quick. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of hats around my office, and the camera doesn't do a great job. But so I keep my collegiate clients here. If I go over here, this is like NBA, NHL, MLS, and then back over there we start seeing that you can see MLB and NHL, NFL's behind that, and then our minor league baseball. So every time we get a new client, I go ahead and buy a hat. Which is actually, here's the really funny part. We're doing RFID now. And so I literally have RFID tags on all of this, and I do mini physicals where I go, there's 80 hats in this room. I'm going to go do a physical and show people how fast I can do it in like 10 seconds, where I just walk around. So it's kind of nice. I got a bunch of hats. So it's my little testing.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed. I didn't see a specific hat there with a W and a V. So are the fine folks in Morgantown, are they not calling Yellow Dog?
They are not. They are not.
Zach, you got to make it happen.
There's room. Yeah.
When I went there, you could not.
I also don't have a Washington Commanders, although I will say this, shout out if you can see it. It's right there. You can barely see it. So that's a signed Taylor Heineke jersey because I'm also on the board at my local club, and new members have to play with 2 board members. So I played golf with Taylor Heineke last weekend. So shout out to you in Washington, and he took $15 off of me, just so everybody knows. So
there you go.
Yeah.
When I was in Morgantown, you could not drink in stadium. Then Andrew Luck's dad, Oliver Luck, became the athletic director, and he brought in alcohol into the stadium. And I haven't been there since because it's a very dangerous place to go to, and I'm just terrified to go back to Morgantown. It's been 13 years. But yeah, would love to. We need to get you in there. We need some Norfolk and Morgantown.
We'll be happy to.
I don't know when you guys met. Do you remember when we met, Jay?
It's been close to like 20 some years ago. Because I'd have to remember that. Like, we were playing golf together at Lambert's Point, and it was back when you were either getting ready to start Hatch or had just started Hatch. So it was, we're in 2000, early 2000s level.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Wow.
I thought it might be that you came to a startup night or something like that. We did like a barbecue there once. That would have been like 2010, probably. Which is 15 years. What did you guys?
I was definitely a startup then, so that probably would have been appropriate.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Like, I mean, even 5 years, but 10, 15 years ago, like, to think that relationship's there. That I met you before I met Tim. Like, it's wild how those relationships can still be strong even if you don't see the person, for many years. And
I got a real quick story, and this is so the punchline to this is never be a jerk. But here's the story. So I'm in Yellow Dog. We're doing a presentation to a hotel group based out of Myrtle Beach. And I'm on doing the initial, presentation. Here's Yellow Dog. Here's what we do type of thing. And then I hand it over to my sales guy to do the full product demonstration. But clearly the lead executive in the room that was on the call was like, hold on, stop. Everyone stop. It was just totally awkward. And he goes, Livingood. He goes, I know you. How do I know you? I was like, tell me where you've worked, where you live, previously. And he said, well, I used to live in Orange County. And I said, were you with the Irvine company? He goes, yep. And I said, yeah, okay. Whatever. 20 years ago, I sold a golf software system. And he goes, that's it. I totally remember it. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking 20 years ago, what was that like? Was this a good deal? Was this a bad deal? And this guy then says, hey, team, we do not need to see a demo. Jay was a good guy. He totally took care of us. I totally believe him. We do not need to spend another minute on here. Jay, get me the proposal and we'll move forward. So 20 years in the past, what I did came roaring to the future. So I use that sort of tell people, never discount anybody. Treat everybody as if they are the number one prospect you are ever going to get, because you just never know what will happen. So anyways, that's my history story.
I love that. It's powerful.
And especially this area, I tell everyone, this is the biggest small town you'll ever be part of. I mean, everyone knows everyone. And the good thing is you can get a meeting with anyone. Don't burn a bridge either, because
well, there's a lot of bridges here, though. You could just go to a different one, drive to another one, right?
Yeah, bridges and tunnels. But yeah, no, your point's well taken, which is, and I decided, I kind of backed into it, but I read a book, and there's this thing in companies, right, where it's like, we need to have a mission statement, we need to have real values, and I totally believe in all of that. And we have ours here, and we use them like crazy. But I also think as an individual, especially, in my role, CEO, and both for business and in personal, I was like, I need to decide what my personal core values are. And I spent some time really looking at it, and I came up with a number of core values, and those have held true ever since. My word is my bond. And if I give somebody my word, I'm going to stick to it, which is, we all have friends who will cancel the last second or move into the next best thing if they get another opportunity. And that served me well. Just like, I'm going to be consistent. If I tell you I'm going to do something, that's it. That's the end of it. I'm doing it, and you can count on it. And then I've got some other things. So anyways, free advice: pick your own personal values, really know what they are. And if you can't say them, take a little time out, come up with them, and then make sure you know them. Because in life, you're going to constantly get confronted where you're going to have to make decisions. And you better know what you stand for and what you'll stick to.
Totally agree. Yeah. You can't state that enough.
Well, I think most people, it'd be an interesting question, and start asking people that. What are your personal core values? A lot of people will struggle to come up with an answer. There'll be a lot of like, well, I believe, but it's anyways.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot on a personal level, and I think that it's like there's talkers and there's doers, and I really pride myself on being a doer. And just to your point, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to talk about it. And
well, it also helps you understand your non-negotiables too. Like I also know what I will not tolerate, and I'll just tell people, I'm sorry, I just can't engage in that behavior. It's not something I will appreciate, want to get involved with. So I can politely decline, but it's because I've already decided what I will and won't get involved with. So that helps too.
Well, thank you for doing the show today. You could have declined that,
But I gave you my word, and I wanted to do it. So, big believer in what you guys are doing.
Tim and I were at the Neptune Shield opening yesterday, which is a new facility in Virginia Beach, helping transitioning vets start businesses and help with some of their career challenges. And one of the things, I probably have heard this before, but I thought it was interesting. It was like, hiring vets is a smart thing because they don't quit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, that's really interesting. We hear all these things about teammates and not staying long or not giving it all. But like, here we are grooming these people, these badasses. And then, by the way, when they transition, heard yesterday, that was more difficult than being a Navy SEAL. Thought that was a wild line. But then to hear like, oh yeah, they don't quit. They're very like in it to win it. I was like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, I've told you, Zach, man, like me being a vet, that was one of the best things that I learned about being in business was like, you're out there in the field. You can't say I can't do this because I don't have the funding for it. You got to figure out a way to make it happen. And so that's just how it is. And yeah, those guys have
got to figure out how to make that fire
tenacity.
Stay warm. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. One of my favorite sayings here is I always say, well, it only took us 19 years to figure out how to do that. It used to be 10 years, 11, but literally not too long ago, honestly, like 6 months ago, somebody challenged me. It was like, do you understand your employee churn? And I was like, I really don't. I mean, we track it. We have it recorded. But the question is why do you lose employees? Why do you let them go? Why do they move on? And I was like, I don't know, but that sounds like a great problem to kind of dig into. So I started out trying to figure out were there, traits or things of the people that left. And I could not zone in on it. So I just pivoted and I went, well, let me look at my long-term employees, the guys that have been here over 8 years, because obviously they have the DNA that works. And we ended up with 7 traits. I'll remember a lot of them off the top of my head, but grit is one of them, which is these guys already know how to work and they will be gritty. And then right with it is curiosity. Because in tech, you need to be curious. Like, why did that thing not work? Why did that number? How are they trying to do that? So like to me, the best two, take curiosity and grit, put those two together. And those are my people. Love those people. So reverse engineer your employees and figure out who you need.
When I was interviewing Patrick, I believe that's how to say his name. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I did not know about something about him, but I just was inquisitive myself. Basically, I said something on the lines of like, have you ever thought about leaving?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, a funny thing, I did.
He did. Yeah.
And then he realized that during that time, he needed to come back. Need might be the right word or wrong word, but like coming back to Yellow Dog was that next step. And you were very welcoming and encouraging and through that. And then there was a line in there where he's like, well, Jay just said, it's just inventory. Yeah. Like you put all those things together. It's it's interesting because a teammate, you don't always think as gritty, but it sounds like figuring out how to find that curious, gritty teammate is clearly a skill set that you and your hiring team has, because like, it seems like a missing piece with all these people who complain about hiring people. It's like, well, maybe you're just not looking for the right person and you're desperate, or like I don't know where I'm going with this, but like I just thought it was very interesting to learn that about.
Well, we when we hire, this is a cheat code. We have the 7 traits on our hiring sheets, and as we interview, we have our questions are all designed to answer where they stand on those 7 traits. So we are purposeful.
Wow.
Because we know, because you can get swept up in an interview, right? It's exciting. The person is saying the right things, but so we have to stick to our script of let's make sure we find out that these are our people. And my HR person, her bonus is based on how long new employees on average are retained at our company. Because we want to find the right people, and we'll take the time we need to for it. And one quick thing on Patrick, I've actually had how many? 1, 2, 3. I've had 3 employees who have said, "Hey, not for me," and they were here for a while, and they went on to other things and have come back. And I bought all 3 of them boomerangs, so they have boomerangs on their office. So it's a little, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we all got to learn, and if that learning is you got to leave this company, go out there, and then realize, okay, wow, that was actually they were way better than I gave them credit for. So, yeah.
What's the line? Grass ain't greener on the other side, something like that.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're humans. You're like, great, best of luck, and go on your journey. But but we also don't burn the bridge too, right? Just like my guy from 20 years ago saying, "Hey, I remember him. He was a good guy. I want people, if they do leave here, I want them to be like, I remember they were good people, good company. Because we'll take you back if you've learned. If you've learned."
Yeah, I mean, depending on if you could, I don't know how hard you work your people, but I mean, they can go to the next place and realize, man, I'm really bored. I need to be tested. I need to work hard. I need that grit.
Yeah,
you just never know what those folks are looking for. I love that interview process.
Well, I mean, I think companies today are somewhat the real world parents to a lot of folks, because with my kids, I mean, they'd probably hate it or love it. There was a lot of business talk at the dinner table every night, but I was really sharing like the experience of, we lost this deal, we won this deal, or this employee is frustrated, or this employee is very happy. So I shared a lot of those experiences. So they kind of, I think, got more of an experience, but I realized that's rare. Most kids growing up just, didn't get that. And so their first job is kind of like wake up time, like, oh crap, like this is the real world. I got to actually do work. I got to produce, and it's hard, maybe it's harder than they thought. So, they may get frustrated and go. But anyways, I just feel like that's the job of today's companies, is to bring people in and help get them up to speed on what it really takes to contribute to a company, and then to a community too. I mean, it's the whole thing. So we're happy to do that. And I know that is our responsibility here, is not just to make them work. It's to actually help people grow and mature, and hopefully they stay with us for a long time, but that's not a guarantee, and I'm not requiring that.
Well, I think it's amazing just in terms of we're trying to let that secret out in terms of the impact that you have on so many places across the world. I mean, it's
why he's got that trophy.
Done, right. And that's exactly the point. It is just like, it's a lot of people I don't know, they've got their blinders on and they're not, but when you look around, and if we can spoon feed that to some folks, they're like, wow, really, really impressive things happening within the region.
Well, we were never, I mean, it's a little scary, right? I'm sure some people would be like, oh my God, you're dealing with, pick a brand, like, holy cow, that sounds terrifying. But it's just people helping people. I mean, the brand's just a logo on it. It's, there's a guy or gal with the same life goals as me across the Zoom or the Teams or across the table. And they're just trying to do their job better and trying to help their employer do whatever it is. And so I'm kind of bold on the logos. I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun. Like I'm looking at who I have to talk to after this today, and they're awesome. Their brands are awesome, and what they do is really powerful, and it's a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, it's a guy or a gal who's trying to do their job. And here's the real thing about what we do. I always ask people, I said, how much of a person, that person across the table, how much of the time is responsible for inventory? Meaning, they're running a gift shop or they're running a restaurant but the reality is the answer is like 10%, 50% of their day is doing inventory. The other 85% is doing the passion that they want to do. They want to buy the right retail. They want to understand what they should mark down. They want to change the fixtures. They want to make the next dish to put on the menu. They want to make sure that people coming into the stadium feel welcome and, lines are quick and all that stuff. So I tell my team, which is, look, we've got a very specific job to do. And our job is to let them do that job really, really fast so they can continue on their passion. And almost none of our guys, their passion is inventory. It's just something they got to do. So our job is to let them do that as fast as they can so they can spend the time in the parts of their occupation that is their passion. And I mentioned this, I think it was in the video, which is, or let them get home. We have story after story about guys who are like, usually it's end of the month. I'm here till 2 a.m. And now with your software, I'm leaving at 4:30 in the afternoon. My wife's not going to know what to do with me. And I'm like, well, figure it out. That's your job now, but I've done mine. So good luck.
Well, it's amazing to me how fast things are changing, and just sporting events. I mean, that's going to be the one thing, in my opinion, that's going to pass the test of time with AI. People are going to want in real life activities, but just in terms of like everything that happens around the stadium or the arena, there is so much that is changing so fast in terms of like meet and greets before this event happening over in this concourse, just the self-serve drink lines that you just go walk up, grab your beer, scan it, tap your card, and you're gone. I mean, it's just it is changing so fast.
Yeah, that's a challenge for our operators, and it's an opportunity for us. I mean, one of the reasons we kind of have done so well in the concession space is that, we'll say 7 years ago, it was the old model, which is you've got a concourse around. If you go talk about this, the scope for a second, right? It's a circular ring, and they've got stands all the way around, and then they got a couple things on the outside. But they got, one point of sale system around that. And that's how every stadium and arena worked. It was find the little stand, wait in line. And they call it belly up because, you're literally your belly's touching the counter, and you're telling them what you want and paying for it. And that's a lot of, exchange going on, and it can be slow. One person, can hold up the whole line if they're indecisive. And now you've got pre-order on your phone. You've got, what's referred to as frictionless, where you stick a tray underneath some cameras, or you walk into a room that has the cameras, and you kind of go in, go out. And so there's all these things. So it's a little bit of a wild west. But the reason why we've been so successful is we'll take all the sales data from all of those guys. And in a stadium, we might have 6 point of sale systems, maybe 8. But the operator, the guy running it's like, I need one report. How do we do tonight? I need one system to figure out what I need to get. I don't need 7. I don't need 8. And so since we're not point of sale, that helps because we can be agnostic and work with everyone to get them connected to help the operator. So we're kind of like the hub, the hub in the spoken wheel analogy, which has been great. So it will that consumer side will continue to evolve at a lightning pace, but we're going to try to just stick to our guns and help that operator and their team just do their job faster and easier, and help that business, hopefully make more money and use less staff.
Do you still golf a lot?
I try to. Once a week.
Okay, Jay and I used to golf a lot. I feel like we used to
Yeah,
go like
morning.
6 a.m. Lambert's Point,
Yeah.
like RIP Lambert's Point. I have not been in that area. Apparently, it's a poppin'
That's
area
gone.
now.
Yeah, it's gone. They bulldozed it. They, the water treatment took a couple of holes, and I think that ended it.
Oh, but isn't the area like popping now though? Like right around there, isn't?
I mean, there's a lot of development going on in there for sure. So I'll tell you real quick. The reason I play golf is because when I do it, I can't think of anything else. So that is the one thing. I cannot think about work or anything else because I'm just trying to think about, all right, I got, maybe if I'm playing well, I've got 80 attempts to hit that little white thing. And that's the only problem I have to solve is the first shot, then the second shot, then the third shot. So it's kind of a nice break.
One of my favorite stories about you is you wrote a book on how to build a golf course.
Driving range.
Yeah. And you go to Kinko's, print it out, put it in a binder, buy an ad in some magazine, right? Mm-hmm. And you made close to $1 million or something like that on this thing.
Yeah, I'll tell this really short. So I grew up in high school working for a guy who owned a driving range, and he said, "Hey, we're going to go build a million of these." And this is before Top Golf and all that good stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, let's go do it." And so I was going, then went into college, still thinking, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." So everything, and I went to JMU, got a business degree. Everything was, "Let's go do this." And then heading into my senior year, he's like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." I was like, "Oh." So, but I was still kind of like, this is a good business exercise. So I ended up doing a case study in my entrepreneurship class. And so that was really good. And then when I got out, I kind of fumbled around in a few jobs. And this kind of, I thought like maybe I'll go into like selling stocks or being a wealth manager. And the guy said, "What'd you used to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to do this driving range thing." And he said, "Oh, let's go do it." And that's where I went back to my case study. And then I diligently went out there and found every piece of information I could on how to do it. And so I was sitting there one night looking at all this info that I had. And I was like, wow, if I can just bring all this together, I'll have more info than anybody else in one spot. So I just sat down, literally wrote out a table of contents, quit my job, wrote out a table of contents, like 30 whatever chapters, and quit my real job, got a job working at a golf course cutting grass. Now I'm an honors graduate from JMU at this point. My team thought I was nuts. They were like, "You're what? You are cutting grass at the local municipal golf course because you're going to do some harebrained thing?" And that's what I did because the agronomy was the only thing I hadn't personally done. So I was like, well, let's just do that. I need to make a few bucks. So I did that and then would get off at work at 3:00 and get home at 3:30. I just sat down in front of the computer and started writing. And I did that for like 3 or 4 months. Took an ad out that took like 3 months. I had to do it in advance. So I had some beautiful pressure. I was like, this thing has got to get done. Then the ad hit, and then people would call, say, "Yep, I'm interested in learning on how to do this. I want to go build a driving range," and sold the book for $250. Cost me $25. And yep, Kinko special. That's it.
I did not realize that was you. I've heard Zach tell the story, but the dots are now connected. That's pretty impressive.
Great. And I had a rule: if I sold 3 books in a day, I'd close and go play golf. It's the best time of my life. Played a lot of golf back then. It was great.
Okay, so was it really like? Did that many people really buy it?
I'd have to do the total math, but it ended up probably about $700,000 or $800,000.
Okay, so let's say it's 750 at 250 a piece. That's 3,000 people wanted to build a golf course. Wow, that's ridiculous. Sounds like a high number, but I love it.
Zach, it's easier to sell a dream than reality.
Absolutely.
These are people sitting there going, "Hey, how hard can this be? It's worth $250, But I will tell you, I literally got stuck in a traffic jam in Myrtle Beach, pulled off. There was a driving range. I just went there. I started hitting golf balls, and then I went in and talked to the guy. And we got on this topic. I was like, "How'd you start your range?" He goes, "Well, I wanted to do it." I said, Did you get any help?" He goes, "Yeah, actually, I bought this book." And I was like, "Do you have it?" He goes, "Yeah." And it was my book. Although I did not sign it. He did not ask me to sign the book, but that's okay.
I would think that probably one of the best perks of your position and job and company is going out to do some site visits at different client locations. That would be a dream within itself.
Yeah, it does. Played golf in an event at Pinehurst not too long ago, and behind the scenes, we kind of call it the Gong Show a little bit because we get to go back behind the curtain, and see, how the sausage is made. So, premium brands, whether it's a gorgeous hotel, resort, golf course, arena, amphitheater, see some really interesting things and get some access that others don't have. But again, at the end of the day, it's just real people working real hard to deliver that product to their guest.
Yeah, we could definitely tell that people love Team Yellow Dog. That was a big proponent of TechNite. Are you doing the new Bills Stadium in Buffalo?
We are. Yes. Yeah. So in sports, you kind of align yourself with a concessionaire and operator, and we have two that are really, really good. And one of those was awarded the new Bills Stadium, and so we'll be helping them open it next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know Tim is excited.
Good news is
that.
we can't lose this week, so that's good.
Well, our first concession client was a little place called SoFi Stadium. That was our first concession. It was a dual team, brand new in LA, $6 billion. So that's how we came out of the chute with that, which is pretty good. And we have the other two team, MetLife. So we're managing the only venues that have two teams. So that's pretty fun.
My understanding is they just when it's a Jets game, it's one way, and then they just turn it. So then it's a Giants game, and I would assume it's the same way with the Rams and the Chargers.
Yeah, they have the different AstroTurfs, back in the corners. They pull them out, roll them back out. The retail guys, literally, they have product on a rack, and they will pull that rack off, flip it, and it'll go from one team to the next. So they flip. It's a flipping.
That is
how they rebrand it.
wild.
It's really cool. But it's like a little mini circus for a day. You watch the guys flip. It's the same thing in arenas, flip a ice hockey into basketball.
Yeah.
I've been in there at 11 o'clock at night watching guys flip down seats, and because they got to pull them back to show the ice. I mean, it's amazing. Some amazing stuff.
Wow.
Is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
No, I mean, I want to encourage all of us in this community to just gather and don't be afraid of it. One of my taglines, I said it on the previous thing we did together, was, don't run scared. You can run paranoid, look around, make sure things are right, but you don't need to run scared. And so as a result, enter in with other folks, bring the guard down, share some things. They're not going to steal it. The better thing would be hopefully you'll get some information to help your business, or worse, you might get a relationship with a friend. So, let's do more of that. That'd be how I'd want to end it.
Well, if you're with the way that we end all of our shows, if Zach and I have been on the hunt to find the foods of the region. If not a food of the region, then the beverage of the region. So if you're inviting some clients, you want to introduce them to the 757, is there a food that you tell them they have to try, or is there a place that you have to take them?
Hopefully it'd be summertime. Crabs are running. If it was spring or fall, I'd say a bunch of places do, a good soft shell. But if it's mid-August, we're running to docksides, getting hard shells and drinking beer for 3.5 hours. That's what I would do, for sure.
I think, and we haven't mentioned this in a while, but I think that we are very spoiled with local craft beer here. I think that we are really, really fortunate. Even Asheville, North Carolina, that is the so-called capital of craft beer. I think that we run circles around them personally.
Yeah. Well, we just, if you like something, support them, right? You like it, support them. Keep going back to them.
Absolutely. Jay, it's been great going through memory lane with you. Lots of fun stories there. Congratulations on the big award. And can you be Entrepreneur of the Year 2 years in a row? Is that a thing? Like, is there a possibility?
I think that's a one and done. I think that's got to be a one and done.
I don't know. I don't make the rules. But if that's an opportunity, maybe 2 in a year, 2 in a row, Jay.
Well, I'm happy. I'll do my part by trying to help others that are deserving to win the award next year. How about that?
You set the bar high.
Yeah, let me be a mentor and a coach.
If you want to win, you have to have a 3-row in the auditorium minimum.
Yeah. Bring your people.
We need to have rally towels next year, right? Like we should do.
Totally could have done this better. I could have brought the mascot. There's a lot of things we could have done, but
you're gonna have to be nominated again next year.
Wear the yellow jacket. At least
I definitely think TechNite towels, like the Steelers terrible towel on every seat. So wave it when you're excited about someone. Like we gotta encourage people. Oh yeah,
cowbell. Do a little Mississippi State.
Yeah, need more cowbell. Yes. Okay. See, I like this. All right.
Great session.
Jay, appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay.
Guys.